So there is no greater value than making a committed decision when you're talking about entrepreneurship. So it's like you said, fail fast, fail quickly, but make a decision. Do something. Decide you're going to do something, and then begin to take action on that. You can always go back, you can track back over your action, you can, change the trajectory, you can do different things, but go right or go left. Because you're going to get far enough down the road right, and you're going to say, okay, hey, maybe this wasn't the direction that I wanted to go, but at least you're going, at least you're taking some action. So make a decision and do something. And that's one of the most crucial factors about it. This guy wrote success books 50, 60 years or so ago. So these are time-tested, true principles. And two of the things that he talks about as a foundation, an essential foundation for success, are belief and positive mental attitude. So without belief and without positive mental attitude, you are not going to be successful, because here's what's going to happen. The people are going to see the belief in you. You're going to have, and by you conveying your belief, you're going to attract people to you. So there are laws, and I won't get too spiritual with it. There's sowing and reaping, and we know about all these sorts of things. But if you don't have belief at the foundation of what you're doing, it's not going to be successful. So you've got to believe, and then other people are going to believe. As people see you believe, they will down to it. You got to change the things that you do. At the essence of commitment is change. Now, what the cool thing about commitment is, well, the cool and the uncool thing. So it's a two-sided sword here. So it can cut you, and it can save you. The commitment, you got to burn your bridges. You've got to. So there's a story about a war, and these guys are on a ship, and they're coming up to the battle. So the captain or whoever this guy is, he sees that his troops are kind of afraid. So he's like, okay, we're going to commit. We're going to win the war, or we're not going home. So they get off the ships on land, and he burns the ships. So so when you make a decision, certainly from an entrepreneurship perspective, you have to make that decision. And once again, it has to be a life-changing decision. It's got to be a thought process-changing decision. Now you've got to put yourself in an environment where that can be nurtured. And once again, that's why we provide these sort of services. But you have to commit at the highest level. So things aren't going to go your way. It says be ready to work. Hey, you really got to be ready to work when you become an entrepreneur. When you have an entrepreneurial belief, you have to be committed to it. So burn your bridges, burn your bridges, burn the ships. Make sure that you don't have any back doors. Close all the back doors. Close the trap door. That's what happens when you embrace personal change too, and that's an awesome example. But what happens when you embrace personal change, when you decide that you're going to change and become a different person, become a better person, it's going to impact the lives of others. Not only those that are closely affected by you, but people that you don't even know of. So when you decide to make a difference in your life, guess what? It's going to make a difference. This is also really what it takes. So we're going to kind of round out here, but you've got to get focused. So, if you pull all those other things together that we talked about, you've got to have a plan. You've got to be committed. You've got to believe. You've got to take some action. But then you've got to get I don't know if anyone in here shoots or anything along those lines, but so you can have a shotgun, and shotgun spray. So if you shoot a gun up against the wall, if it's a shotgun, it's going to spray. Or you can have a laser-sighted rifle. And when you've got a laser-sighted rifle, that means you're pinpointing in on something. You've got your scope, you've got the windage and your adjustment, and you're focused on that thing. And guess what? You're going to hit it because you're focused. So you're putting all your energy, your effort, what you see, your direction. You're making sure that everything is right so that you can hit that target. And that's the whole essence of focus, making sure that everything is in place. Now, here's the reality. Everything's not going to be in place because there are circumstances that you can't control. There are environmental circumstances. There's political challenges. There's all sorts of stuff that's going to happen. There's stuff with your family. Once again, life continues to happen. But you can take care of all those things that you can control. The two things that you can control, you have unquestioned control of, and that will make your focus is being in control of your actions and your attitude. Those are the only two things that you can control, what you do and what you think about what you do. So you have to plan. You have to strategize. You have to be able to look at it from a big picture perspective and narrow that big picture perspective down into a small picture. You have to be able to kind of look at things from the outside in and from the inside out. And I'm not talking about rocket science here. I'm just talking about, quite honestly, just getting your mind right. Because that's what it's going to take in order to be successful. You got to practice. Here's one of the things, I work in sales and I work in sales development. And a lot of times, I'll do certain things, and some of the people that work for me are like, well, why is he doing that? Well, this guy's been doing this for 15 years, 20 years. He's an expert. Well, if you don't practice your trade, you'll never get better at your trade. You're stagnating. Guess what? If you're not growing, then you're dying. It's just like a flower. If you're not watering that flower and that flower's not growing, it's going to die. Think about great athletes. Think about the Williams sisters. Think about Serena and Venus Williams. Think about how much practicing they do. But they're at the top of their game, not because, you know, they're so physically effective, but it's because they practice. Their father and their mother instilled in them to practice, to keep at it. Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, all of these people. And you can even liken that to business and entrepreneurship. You know, people who have succeeded in business, they practice their trade. You know, and finally they implement, they take action, they do it. And that's the last and most essential step. After all the thinking is done, after all the strategizing and planning is done, you got to start doing this. We're standing here, we didn't got it all right. You got to start going. Shake your hands. Hi, how you doing? My name is Edward Williams. How you doing? My name is Edward Williams. Hi, I got a business. My name is Edward Williams. Hey, how you doing? You got to start implementing your plan. You got to start doing something. So, focus. Get focused. Do it. You know, make it happen.